Ramon! Ramon!
Right, guys, I actually missed this at the time, but it seems the Ramon in Tosspot and Lib Dem supporting shitweasel Guy Verhofstwat has piped up when no one wanted him to, crying his soy boy eyes out because we are no longer under direct EU control, while claiming that the UK will rejoin the EU, or should we say, the people of the UK will want to rejoin, which I have to say, in my mind, is impossible. Politicians could well drag us back in, let me tell you that, but the people voting for it, I would say never. At least not in a free and fair referendum, that is for sure. Though I expect any referendum in future wouldn't be free and fair because we went against what the elites wanted in 2016. But anyway, Guy Verhofstwat seems to think the under-25s will bring the UK back into the EU, obviously forgetting something that happens with most people not long after they turn 25, at least in my experience, which we will get into in a moment. Now, the article itself comes from the Ramoning shitweasels over at the New European, so let's take a look at what this salty prick has to say, because I'm sure it will be funny. Brexit derangement syndrome is always going to be rife with this one because he needs our money to keep himself relevant within the EU. And let's be honest, how long before other countries start walking out the door? We've already discussed this many times on the channel. The article headlines, UK will find a way back to the European family, obviously written by Guy Verhofstwat himself on the 31st of December 2020. It says, there is one case, wrote Dostoevsky, and only one, when a man may deliberately and consciously desire something that is downright harmful, even stupid, even extremely stupid, and that is, to have the right to desire what is even extremely stupid and not to be duty bound to desire only what is intelligent, which obviously anything to do with intelligence puts Guy Verhofstwat and the EU right in the shitter because they actually have none. Fuck off phone. That cunt should have been muted. He goes on though, that for me is Brexit. No one in their right mind ever really believed closing yourself off from your closest economic, political and geopolitical partner would be a constructive thing to do. No one is closing us off. You attempted to do that, but in the end you did a Brexit deal, despite the fact you all saying it would be impossible. So obviously within a couple of sentences he's proved himself to be talking shit, which is something we knew anyway. He goes on though, but some honestly believe they had the right to do so, and the only way to spectacularly reaffirm that right was through something spectacularly self-harmful and destructive, which obviously I have to take issue there. He said some honestly believe they had the right to do so. Well, 17.4 million people were given the right to choose. They chose, and off we fucking went. I really find it astonishing that this cunt comes out with the things he does. You all might remember him standing there at the Lib Dem conference speaking like he was in a fucking fascist regime or something. Obviously, despite the fact that he has zero right to be speaking anything at all. He said, it still saddens and even frightens me to see how a great country can continue to belittle itself in this way, which obviously is a load of bollocks when you consider we are the 5th largest economy in the world and predicted to absolutely trounce past France very soon. If memory serves, it's something like 23% bigger than France. Meaning we will be shitting over every EU nation. And actually, if I remember rightly, someone come out yesterday saying that the UK economy will actually beat that of even Germany soon, and that was from a German newspaper, if memory serves. It certainly wasn't from a Boris Johnson ally. He said, even apart from economics, the small companies scrambling to get a grip of the kind of paperwork they never knew existed, the open fields turned into concrete lorry parks, the state of the world in 2020 doesn't make this any wiser. No, let me tell you, being part of the EU in the future is not a wise move. As we have said and many have predicted, the EU is only going one way, and that is down the shitter where it belongs. Euroscepticism is rising within the EU, as we've seen in many countries, so it's only really a matter of time. And the more Britain succeeds with Brexit, the more countries are likely to join us in freedom. Unless, of course, the Scotsnap Prats get their way and become independent, or the vassal state of Brussels, though Brussels actually said they wouldn't take them anyway. And to be honest, I really wouldn't blame him. He said Russian interference should worry all of us. Chinese assertiveness looks down upon democracies as never before. Well, Boris Johnson and the EU, along with many other countries, are following the Chinese Communist Party's way of dealing with pandemics, so I don't know what the fuck you're talking about there. He said the new US administration will need to focus on healing its own wounds for years to come. Yeah, does anyone know what administration that will actually be yet? We all hold out for the 6th of January, as you know. He said, I could go on, but you know the endless list of frightful internal and international challenges liberal democracies are facing, and then came COVID-19. Yeah, which is all consistently ballsed up, but that's another video entirely. If ever there was a case for European countries to come together, it is now. Britain chose not to, and has not found a way to change its mind since, because the people will not change their mind. But I do have to say he's right, there is a case for European countries to come together, just not within the EU. They can come together as independent sovereign nations working together for their own benefits. And as he said, they will rightly need to go against Chinese assertiveness, but not with the EU as a whole, because we know the European Union is a bureaucratic shitshow, and a piss poor weak one at that. The individual nations need to lead themselves in a cooperative group against other fucking nations that want to cunt us off, not part of the EU like I said. The last bit we're going to read is here. Democracy is a way to start anew, time and again, to change your mind when facts change. He says no one under the age of 22 had a say in the dreadful decision implemented this week. Those just old enough to vote at the time of the referendum overwhelmingly voted to remain. Yeah, because they were brainwashed and don't know any better. As I said earlier, after 25, that shit usually changes. Most people I know were fairly left and liberal before they turned like 26, 27 or 28. Then they grow up a bit, realise that it's a load of bollocks, and actually that is not the way the world works. Then you see them change over to more central or right-sided politics, which obviously takes them far and away from being a Ramonin tosspot like Guy Verhofstwat. He said whatever happens next, these younger generations will decide on the future for themselves. At some point, one way or another, they will find their way back to the European family. Yeah, only if you lot fudge a referendum result, not if you actually ask the people of this country. Well guys, I think you would admit that that is one of the saltiest articles we have ever heard. It's not actually based in reality for the most part either, which is of course of no surprise to any of us. Guy Verhofstwat is a deluded shitweasel with no power over the UK now, but I expect he will still be attending the Lib Dem conference this year. Hopefully he does, because we will take the piss out of him when that happens. But like I said, the younger generation, while they may support Remain now, probably won't do it in the future. As you get older, your politics move, but they don't often move to the far left. You usually start out as a far lefty, which is what we see with most of like the Corbynite supporters, and obviously the Remain campaign as a whole. Guy Verhofstwat is praying that that is going to happen. I really don't think it will.
There is a pattern consistent throughout history of oppressed people turning on the oppressors. Slaves against their owners, the peasantry against the feudal barons, colonies, Mr. Verhofstadt, against their empires. And that is why Britain is leaving. And it doesn't matter which language you use, we are going, and we are glad to be going. We're off.